The U.S. President Donald Trump here has convened the first meeting of his Board of Peace for Gaza with representatives from more than 40 countries and observers from a dozen more. But there is no Palestinian representation. At the inaugural meet, he made a $10 billion commitment to his own initiative.
The Board of Peace is showing how a better future can be built, starting right here in this room. And I want to let you know that the United States is going to make a contribution of $10 billion to the Board of Peace. Together we can achieve the dream of bringing lasting harmony to a region tortured by centuries of war, suffering and carnage. They say 3,000 years.
Donald Trump also pitched his peace board as something that can make the United Nations great again. The U.S. president said his initiative can keep a watch over the UN and help revive it.
We're going to be working with the United Nations very closely. We're going to bring them back. I think the United Nations has great potential, really great potential. It has not lived up to potential. The 8 wars, I never even spoke to them about one of them, and I should be speaking to them about all of them. The Board of Peace is going to almost be looking over the United Nations and making sure it runs properly. But we're going to strengthen up the United Nations.
Now, while Trump talks of lasting peace, Israel has continued its strikes on Gaza despite a ceasefire. RT's Charlotte Dubensky has been gauging the situation on the ground as worshippers from the West Bank head towards the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem for the first Friday prayers of Ramadan.
Muslims getting ready to head to the Al-Aqsa compound, or as close as they can get to it, for the Friday prayers, the first Friday prayers of this Ramadan. And it comes amid increased security here in East Jerusalem. Checkpoints set up all around to get here into Damascus Gate, and even checkpoints before those checkpoints to ensure that people have the right permits to be able to enter into the compound or this area. This year, around 10,000 were issued for men over the age of 55 and women over the age of 50. Many, though, not able to get those permits to go and make those prayers on this important part of the Islamic holy month. Well, while Palestinians here may feel that there are increased tensions and difficulties for them, they're well aware that the situation over on the Gaza Strip is even more difficult. Gazans now celebrating this first Ramadan in 3 years without war, but that threat of war still looming. And while there is a ceasefire, it's been in place since October of last year, over 600 Gazans have been killed in the continued, almost daily strikes that are still being administered by the Israeli military, drone strikes overhead. Now, all of this is coming as we have seen the very first meeting of the Board of Peace. This is something set up by the US President Donald Trump and is to find a peace process for Gaza. Many countries from around the world attending that, including India as an observer. Lots of money being pledged to for Gaza, billions and billions. Some 10 billion of that will be earmarked for construction. Some of the details we've had of that will be 100,000 homes in Rafah. That will increase to around 400,000 homes, and also money being spent on the much-needed infrastructure, because we know that the images show, the studies show that over 90% of the infrastructure in Gaza completely decimated in this last 2.5-year period. So much needed, people living in tents, many hand-to-mouth, and desperate to get some sense of reconstruction, though we still don't have concrete plans as to when that will start. And all of that comes as there are still those ongoing strikes, ongoing raids by the Israeli military. And this comes as well as India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi due to head to Israel in the next few days to have a meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu. Trade deals between the two countries, incredibly important. A recent defense deal signed of around $8.6 billion between India and Israel. And it will be interesting to see whether the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be able to use those deals as some sort of leverage to say to the Israeli Prime Minister, OK, come on, let's end this war once and for all.